I have too many projects. The obvious problem with having too many projects is it takes way too long to finish any of them. The less obvious thing is you don't keep up with the smaller sort of shop maintenance things that you should be taking care of too. Over the past few weeks I've been trying to carve out a little bit of time to try to take care of some of those things. My camera mount arm wouldn't stay in place, so I pulled it off the wall, shimmed it, and also added some gas shocks instead of springs, and I like the way it works a lot better now. I built this little low-speed diamond grinder a while back. When I did, I bought the wrong switch for it. It would reverse it, but it wouldn't actually turn off. I bought the right switch, left it sitting on the workbench for a year. Finally got around to replacing it, so now I can just turn it on and off in either direction. That's handy. I also had the hacksaw crash and break the switch instead of just turning it off. So I had to unplug it to turn it off, and finally got around to fixing that too. So in that spirit, I think I'm going to take care of a couple things on my lathe that have been bugging me. This is a Logan Model 200 that was made in 1944, and it's been used pretty hard over the last 80 years. This handwheel has gotten pretty loose and floppy. Seeing 624 there, 623 there, but it's obviously just kind of chewed up throughout there. That gear is integral to this shaft. I'm thinking the best thing to do is just try to polish this up the best I can. That cleaned up reasonably well, got most of the worst of the carnage out. It's probably within 1/1000th end to end. I will say that steel and cast iron is not the worst combination for a bearing, but kind of the thing about these wartime machines is they were designed to be built quickly, efficiently, as little use of material as possible, and they really only needed to outlast the Nazis. This one's done a lot more than that. Since now this is undersized, I think the thing to do is to make a little custom bronze bushing to press in there, which means this needs to go back on the lathe. Of course, I'm going to want this piece for checking fits, so Alright, so kind of story time here. A while back I was picking some tools from a guy, and one of the things was this bin of a whole bunch of reamers in like used motor oil. It's kind of gross, but it kept them in good shape. I brought them home, cleaned them up. There are chucking reamers, hand reamers, and a whole bunch of Morse taper reamers. A lot of the Morse taper ones are reground. Some of them are marked, some aren't. But this one is .623. I think that should be just about perfect for what I need. That's actually a really good fit. It might tighten up a little bit when I press it in, and I may need to ream it again, but for now that's incredibly satisfying. This mount for this bevel gear was another part that was broken on the lathe when I got it. Since all I had was a lathe and a grinder, I managed to make that with it. There's not much left on those half nuts. That might be a project for another time. Looks like this surface is all machined, so that makes the setup easy. Just try to pop this little broken ball oiler out first. I'm gonna have to drill that anyway. So that did tighten up just a little too much. That fits nice, and I think I'll drill the oil hole off camera. Once all the machining was done, I gave everything a good bath in the ultrasonic cleaner to wash away any new chips and all the old grunge. And then everything got a good coat of WD-40 and or T9. I said this video was about fixing little irritating things, and the gasket from the top of my oil can fell down in the bottom and got sucked up into the pump. Took me a while to get all the pieces of that out. The bushing I made ended up being just a hair too long, so I can't tighten the nut on the hand wheel all the way down without it binding. I added some Loctite on the nut, and that should keep it in place and let it move freely. Would have been smart to put this ball oiler in before I put the hand wheel on, but using a nut driver to drive it in works pretty well. And with everything tightened down and some fresh oil, it's time to take it for a test drive. Another small but significant irritation on this lathe, I made this carriage lock a while back, and it doesn't clear the tailstock, which means that if I want to lock the carriage near the tailstock, I need to move the tailstock out of the way, lock it, and move the carriage back. Let's fix that. I've got a piece of mystery stainless steel that's an appropriate diameter. Surface finish on it's spectacular, but it's pretty tough stuff. Also want to fix this shaft. It's pretty sloppy too, but I don't have the right size piece of bronze to make a bushing for that right now. But it does turn out that that's the same size piece of bronze I'm going to need to rebuild the half nut. I've been trying to upload a video every week, so I think I'm going to leave that off there. Say thank you for watching, and if you want to see those other repairs, stick around.